Today we're going to be talking about research brainstorming using a mind map. Now, there are several benefits to using a mind map when you're conducting academic research. The first is that it builds good documentation habits. As a librarian, I get a lot of questions about not only how to find sources, but how to find sources that we've found before but can't get back to. So always getting in the habit of documenting what we're doing as we're doing it is one of the most valuable research tips. Mind mapping is a creative process. So research can be very intimidating, but by starting off with something creative, you're getting the ball rolling, you're making progress, and that doesn't require any prior knowledge. So we can start brainstorming what we'd want to search, how we might going about finding information on a topic without really having done anything before. Doing this also gives us some direction. Even if the things that we put in our mind map aren't the words or language that we would use on our eventual search, it gives us some direction and a starting point. So let's take a look at an example topic. For this example, let's say that I'm looking for academic sources on bullying in middle childhood. So bullying and middle childhood, that's kind of the core of our topic. Now, when you have a topic, regardless if you are doing a research paper where you have to have a thesis or you're developing a presentation, even putting down some guiding questions, even if you don't need them, is really helpful because, again, it kind of gets the ball rolling, gets you into the mindset of what kind of sources we'd want to find, but also how might we read those sources and then later critique them once we have them. So some things that come to mind for bullying in middle childhood might be the types of bullying. There's all sorts of different kinds of bullying. What are they? What are those types of bullying that people experience? And let's say I'm looking specifically, or I'm interested in the impact of bullying on one's development in middle childhood. Now I'm ready to start documenting keywords and phrases and my ideas in the mind map itself. So I've taken my topic, bullying in middle childhood, and I put it in a cloud. And you can do this on a whiteboard, a chalkboard if you have one at home. You could do this on, a plain piece of paper, lined notebook. Doesn't really matter. Again, we're just going to sketch these things out. Of course, I'm doing this digitally here. So we want to break apart our topic so we can start documenting what we know. So the first thing that I look at when I see this is I see the term middle childhood. So when we look for academic research, it's quite possible that articles on this topic will use the term middle childhood, but we might also want to put in some alternatives. For instance, we could put teens. We could expand that to teenagers. We may want to replace middle childhood with something like adolescence. So right away, we have some alternative terms that we could put into a search. The next aspect I want to break apart in our mind map is bullying. And I want to look at two things. I want to look at first the type of bullying. So the type of bullying could be a variety of things. We may have school bullying or classroom. So when you're thinking about where to look for research, you can look at a geographical place. So where does the bullying take place? That could be a physical thing. That could be perhaps family or sibling. So again, it could be school related. It could be home related bullying. Because this is the 21st century, there's also all sorts of online bullying. So we could say online, maybe even say cyberbullying. I've heard that term, I believe, somewhere before. So I'm just starting to sketch out the type of bullying that I may want to investigate. Now, the other side of the coin is how bullying affects lifespan development or it impacts one's development in middle childhood. So we could create another bubble, and we could call it development. So what would some things be that bullying may lead to? Well, a common one that would occur to us probably is depression. That's a possibility. Perhaps panic or anxiety. That might be another option about how it affects us. Perhaps bullying affects our future relationships, all sorts of things. So without any prior knowledge, I've already started to document some of the things that come to mind. So the next thing I want to do is I want to write these down in a larger document, or I could start putting these terms into a background resource such as an encyclopedia database. I could even take some of these terms and look in an academic database. And then I would see if the terms I'm using that I've brainstormed are what's used in the actual research. Are there alternatives to them? And then I would start documenting that, and so on and so forth. So again, you can see how we've gotten the ball rolling here in terms of documentation.